Hey everybody, welcome to our 150th cruise. This week, we're on Norwegian Aqua. This is the first time we've been on NCL in a long time, and yesterday we embarked the ship, and I thought I'd give you a little update on what our experience was, kind of our first impressions, and what we did the very first day on board. Just let me start by telling you I had to make some notes on my phone because I got a lot of different things I want to talk about. Now, we flew in the day before, and we stayed in a hotel near the port. In fact, we were on the 42nd floor of a hotel. And when we got up yesterday morning, you could actually see Norwegian Aqua. It was, in front of the NCL terminal building. Right now, I just want to tell you about our experience getting on board the ship and what happened the very first day. So we get up from the hotel. We left about 10:45. We ordered a Lyft to pick us up at the hotel. It's not that far to the port Miami. It's, looks like it's going to be maybe a 10-minute drive. And I got to tell you, the traffic getting into the port was a real cluster. I mean, it was insane. We have not sailed out of Miami in quite a while. For some reason, most of the cruises we've been on that sail out of the United States have been in Fort Lauderdale. So it's probably been, I think it was maybe before COVID that we sailed out of Miami. And I don't remember the traffic being this bad. But there's a lot more huge mega ships now, and maybe that's the reason. But you had to wind around different ways. We thought, like I said, we thought it was going to be a 10-minute drive. Turns out it took us maybe 30 minutes, 35 minutes to get to the terminal. First of all, the documentation from NCL didn't do a very good job of explaining where the terminal was. I didn't see anything in the NCL documentation that I saw that said we're in Terminal B. And that's very important information because NCL's big new terminal is Terminal B. I just don't remember I saw the address, but when you book a Lyft drive, they don't really tell you the different terminals. All I could find was Terminal G, which is actually Royal Caribbean's terminal. So our Lyft driver was trying to take us to Terminal G because that's what's was on the Lyft order. Well, it was, like I say, it was very interesting. We finally found a security person there at Port Miami that told the driver how to get to the correct terminal. Our time that we were scheduled to get to the terminal and check in was at 11 o'clock, between 11 and 11:30. We got there maybe about 11:10 or 11:15. And then when we get out of the lift, we handed our bags off to the porter who's going to take our bags. We don't see him again until we get on the ship. I had a backpack. Ricky had a small bag, but that's all we were getting on board with. Now we're looking around to figure out where do we go from here. We couldn't really find any signs anywhere to say where to go to check in. We saw some lines of people. We assumed maybe that's where we were supposed to be.
I don't know where we go. There's no signs. They don't believe in signs. There's big lines everywhere. I know, but which line do we get in?
But when we went to get into this line, I'd say there were maybe 75 people in this line. Somebody said, no, you're in the wrong place. I still don't know what that line of people was. So then we start walking around the building. We never did really see a definitive sign. It's almost like this is the first time we've been on a cruise. We were like completely lost on where to go. We went into the building and I could see a desk where they were checking people in for the Haven, and we're not in the Haven. And we asked a gentleman standing there, where do we go to check in? And he pointed this direction. So we went over. There wasn't a very big line. There was maybe just a few people ahead of us. We did like a facial recognition thing. And then we went on in, and the next thing is we're in a line to go through security. Now, one thing they've done good at the NCL terminal is they really do have a good grasp of security. They had 3 or 4 security lines set up where where your luggage goes through the scanners and where you go through the metal detector. It was really well organized, well staffed, and well done. we got through that very quick. And then we went to the check-in desk where we stood there for just a couple of minutes waiting for a check-in person to check us in. We give the passports and they gave us our room keys. That went very quick. The next thing I know, I thought we were going to go into a big room because there was a big room with a lot of seats. I thought we were going to go into a big room and sit down until they started calling groups to board the ship. But it turns out we just walked on the ship. I mean, they just kept leading us to get onto the ship like we were ready to go. There were no long lines. It was really freaky. We thought with a big ship like this, it's going to be, a lot of lines. So we get on the ship, and the first thing we start doing is we start looking for the main dining room, because first we were going to have lunch in the main dining room because it is open for lunch on embarkation day on NCL. And we had, or I had read on Cruise Critic that that's where you go to get your specialty dining reservations for the specialty restaurants. Now, we had purchased the More at Sea package for specialty dining, and I think we have 3 specialty dining for like $60 per person, which seemed like a pretty good deal. We start looking for the place to make our reservations because we tried to book them online. We booked this cruise maybe 6 weeks ago, and we never could book anything online. We had heard that they hold back a pretty high percentage of tables in these restaurants for people to book once they get on board the ship. So we start looking for the place to do this, thinking it's the main dining room. We asked one of the crew members, where's the main dining room? She pointed us this direction, and she said, thankfully, she said, are you trying to make reservations? And we said yes, and she said, you need to go to the theater. But we took her word for it. We went to the theater, and sure enough, that's where we found the line of people. That's the only line we really had to stand in. There was a pretty large crowd there. And even once you got into this theater area, it was a little confusing as how do you get in. There's actually 2 different lines, and we didn't know which line to get in, but we figured it out. So like I say, it's almost as if this is the first time we've been on a cruise. I mean, we looked completely clueless. So we get in line, we finally get to a person. It took maybe 10 minutes to get to a reservation person to take our dinner reservation. And we got all the reservations we wanted at the times we wanted. We were fine. We were very flexible. So after we got through with that, we thought, well, we'll go have lunch. So we went to the main dining room, which is Hudson's, aft-facing dining room, really pretty location, windows all across the back of the ship, nice views. We got a nice table by the window. It wasn't very crowded at all. In fact, I'd say the restaurant wasn't even a third full. Most people on embarkation day will go to the buffet for lunch. And we've learned that over the years, and we prefer a little bit quieter, relaxed meal. So anytime we have the opportunity to have lunch in the main dining room, we opt for that. We sat there for probably maybe 10 or 15 minutes before finally Ricky kind of flagged down it looked like one of the restaurant managers who was walking around filling water glasses for people. And she came over and gave us water, and she said, do you not have your menus? And I said, no. And she said, well, apparently they were supposed to give them to us when we were seated, but they didn't. So she made sure we got menus. Then we got a waiter to come over and take our order. Service at Hudson's was very slow. Non-existent really at first until she came in, the restaurant manager, one of the restaurant managers, and she kind of made sure we got taken care of. Once we placed our order, things sped up a little bit. It was still a little slow, but not too bad. So one thing we did notice, there was no bread on the table, and nobody ever brought us any bread. So we did ask the waiter when he came over the next time, could we get some bread? And he said, oh yeah. So he brought us a little basket of bread. Now the bread was cold, so I guess you can't expect warm bread. But we did get some bread finally. And just to tell you a little bit about the meal itself, I would say it's a pretty typical main dining experience. Ricky's wedge salad was very good. She really enjoyed that. Chicken noodle soup was just kind of okay. As for my meal, the spinach Caesar salad was very good. Really enjoyed that. And the pork chop had a good flavor, but it was overcooked and dry. Like I say, this is pretty typical kind of experience that we've had over the years with main dining, especially on large ships. After lunch, we walked forward on, I think it was deck 6 or 7, maybe it was deck 7, to check in with our muster station. So we walked all the way forward from the back to the front of the ship and found our muster station, which was A7-1. She scanned our cards, told us that when we get in our stateroom to watch the video, and that there would be some announcements later in the day, and that we were done, basically. That was easy. We didn't have to go stand out by the lifeboat. We didn't have to sit through a demonstration of the life vest or anything. It was a very relaxed and easy mustering, I guess you call that the muster. So then we wanted to see if our stateroom was ready, which it was not. They had said, I think the staterooms would be ready by 3 o'clock, and it was probably, by now, it's probably 1:15, 1:20, something like that. So we went to the Belvedere bar, I think it's on deck 6, and Ricky had a cocktail, and we sat there for a little bit, and then they made an announcement that the rooms were ready. This is probably about 2 o'clock. So 2 o'clock, we come up here, we come to our stateroom, which is where I am right now. We're in a forward-facing club balcony, what they call a suite. I'm just going to tell you first impressions when we walked in. We thought the room was a little sparse. It's very spacious, but a lot of the space is wasted, it seems. There's a lot of room they could have used that they didn't use in here. Surprised that they did not have a skirt on the bed to hide the luggage. You can put your luggage under the bed, but there's no bed skirt to hide it, so you can kind of see the luggage under the bed. As far as the balcony, very large, huge, but on the NCL website, they showed that there were supposed to be 2 sun loungers as well as 2 chairs, and there were no sun loungers. Probably the only real negative on the stateroom is there's a very large stain on the carpet, like bright green. I don't know what they spilled. Looks like creme de menthe or something, and it stained the carpet, and I guess they couldn't get the stain out. That's bad. That should not be there. They should either get it cleaned or they should replace the carpet if they have to. It really does not look good. You pay a premium for this club balcony, forward-facing club balcony suite. It was a lot more expensive than a regular balcony stateroom, so that's not good. Other than that, I'll go into more detail on the stateroom in a future video where we'll go through in detail and talk about this. By about 3:45, our luggage was delivered, and our stateroom attendant, Dominic, showed up, introduced himself. Very nice guy. Ricky had made a list of things that she wanted him to provide, like some additional hangers. Another thing not crazy about, and this is just an NCL thing, they use captive hangers in the closets. It's very limited as to what you can do, but he did offer to bring some additional hangers. They're plastic hangers. We were able to get by fine with that. The closet space is good on here. They just don't have enough hangers. They need more captive hangers in their closets for us. We mentioned to him that we thought there were going to be 2 sun loungers. He acted kind of surprised, like he had never heard of this before, like we were making a request for something unusual, but it's clearly shown on the NCL website that there's supposed to be 2 sun loungers on this balcony. Nevertheless, he agreed to get them for us, and he did. He brought us 2 sun loungers, so we now have that. The other initial observation I would make is regarding the internet Wi-Fi setup here on NCL. And it appears that a lot of the major cruise lines are doing something similar. We purchased the high-speed streaming service for me because I'm here working a business. I need to upload videos. I need to do blogging. And so I paid, I think, $179 upcharge to get this high-speed Wi-Fi. If you're not in business and you don't absolutely have to have this, I think it's almost a ripoff. I think it's really not worth the money. It's not that the speeds aren't good, but they only let you use one device at a time. And I think if you're paying $179 for a streaming service, you should be able to have at least 2 devices, because I've got a phone, I have a laptop, and I have to turn the high-speed Wi-Fi off on one to use it on the other. That's a pain. Shouldn't be that way, in my opinion. I don't think that's a very good business practice. That's just me personally. You let me know in the comments down below what you think. Do you, I don't know, it just seems rather expensive, and I don't This seems to be a direction a lot of cruise lines are going, and I don't like it, but that's just me because I have to have good high-speed Wi-Fi. And it is pretty good speed. I haven't had any issues with the speed. It's just the cost and the way it works, their system. Now, if you don't purchase their optional streaming, well, I can't remember what it's called, but their high-end Wi-Fi system, you do get free Wi-Fi, but you only get 150 minutes of free, and I think that's really, really cheesy. I think you should have unlimited one device Wi-Fi for free. Every person on the ship. You can't do much with it anyway. You can basically maybe text with it or something. I don't know what you can do. You can't stream. You could probably check your email. That's about all you're able to do with their basic free system. But they limit it to 150 minutes. And I don't know. To me, that's not a very good value. I don't know if all the other major cruise lines are doing that now, or if they're just giving you, I know on Viking you get unlimited Wi-Fi. It's not very fast, but you can check email, you can go to websites, you can do things like that. You can't stream with it, but you can do the basic things with it. But that's Viking. It's a more expensive product. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about our dinner at Cagney's. Our reservation was at 7 o'clock. We were ready about 5:45, so we thought, well, we'll go have a drink before dinner. We go down to Cagney's. There is a bar right across from Cagney's called the Metropolitan Bar. We really liked it. We found some comfortable seats. There's 3 different kinds of seating there. 2 of them we found very uncomfortable, but the third one, very comfortable. And so I know a lot of people ask us about seating on these ships. Are the public space seating, are they comfortable? Some are, some aren't. So some are very hard. The seats, they have some seats that swivel, which is nice. I like that. But the cushions were hard as a rock. They have some sofas that look nice, but the back of the sofa is very low. And it was also very hard. But then we found these kind of maroonish, reddish chairs. I found those to be very comfortable. The cushions were nice. We had cocktail, great bar service. Ricky had a peach Bellini that she really liked. I had my Crown Royal. We do have the drink package. We paid $210 per person for the unlimited beverage package. Another complaint I have is that they don't include water on the beverage package. I think that's ridiculous. So you can't go to a bar and get bottled water on the drink package. You got to pay extra if you want bottled water. I already saw one lady go up to the bar and she was really not happy when she found out that she had to pay extra for a bottle of water. That's something I think NCL should change. We enjoyed our cocktails. We're sitting there, and at 7 o'clock we go check in at Cagney's at the desk. We end up at a table for 2, kind of in the middle of the restaurant. There was tables for 2 on either side of us. Maybe this much space between the tables, not enough to where you could walk through the tables, but that was about it. So you're almost sitting with other people, but you're really not. You have a little bit of privacy. There are some tables near the windows. I think you'd have to probably get there very early, like at 5:30, to get one of those seats. We're seated, we get the menu, and we order. Ricky has the French onion soup. She ordered a shrimp cocktail. I had the Caesar salad. I asked for a small portion of the Caesar salad. I really like, obviously, Caesar salad. And I had the thick cut bacon. I think they called it grilled thick cut bacon with a house-made steak sauce, which was interesting. And I also had a crab cake appetizer. Now, the crab cake was okay, not great, not the best I've had. The Caesar salad was good, but no better than the one I had had at lunch in the main dining room. But it's good. The dressing was similar. And the thick cut bacon, which really is pork belly, it's just a strip of pork belly, I thought was very good. But the steak sauce was weird. It was like a shrimp cocktail sauce. So that was not good. Didn't go with the pork at all. And I thought, well, maybe they just put the wrong cocktail sauce, because Ricky had ordered a shrimp cocktail. And I thought, well, maybe they gave me a little ramekin of cocktail sauce, like extra cocktail sauce for her. But the lady sitting at the table next to us also got the thick cut bacon, and I asked her about her sauce, and she said the same thing. It was cocktail sauce. It was shrimp cocktail sauce. But the bacon was good without the sauce. So I don't know what's going on with the special steak sauce. Ricky ordered a petite filet, cooked medium. I ordered a ribeye, cooked medium. And the steaks, quite honestly, were disappointing. Ricky's first filet she got was way overcooked, almost well done. Certainly medium well, almost well. but that's okay. They replaced it. They brought her another steak, cooked medium, and it was cooked nicely. My ribeye was cooked perfectly, medium. But honestly, I've had much better ribeyes. I think the steaks we've had at Crown Grill on Princess were better. I think the steaks we've had at Pinnacle Grill on Holland America were better. I had high expectations for Cagney's because I've heard nothing but rave reviews about Cagney's for years. We've never eaten at Cagney's. This is our first time. And we were a little let down. Ricky got her second filet, which was cooked perfectly, but it was very chewy. My ribeye also had a lot of gristle in it, and it was kind of dry in places. It wasn't a juicy steak. So a little disappointed in Cagney's, to be honest with you. We didn't even stay for dessert. And certainly, in our opinion, it was not worth. They're charging $60 per person to eat at Cagney's. Now, we had the specialty dining package, so we only paid $20 per person, and I felt like it was a $20 per person meal, not a $60 per person meal. So, wasn't terrible. The service was very good. The people were very nice. Excellent service. Good wine service. They had good wines they offered us. No problem there. And the wines were covered through our drink package that we had paid for. So that part was good. We just didn't have a good experience with the steaks. Maybe we ordered the wrong thing. Anyway, after Cagney's, we pretty tired. It was already, 8:30, 9. And plus they moved our clocks last night. We had to move our clocks ahead an hour. So we actually lost an hour. So by the time we went to bed, it was technically 9:30. I know we're early to bed people. We didn't even go to a show last night. We were kind of tired. So we just came back, went to bed. Today, we're working on the blog this morning. We're getting this video done. I'm going to see how long it takes to upload this video. I'm hopeful that with this expensive Wi-Fi, it will get uploaded to YouTube. And we're going to go check out the rest of the ship. We really haven't seen very much of the ship. We haven't even been up to the pool deck yet. So anyway, thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions about Norwegian Aqua, anything else you want to know a little bit more about, put it in the comment section down below. I read every comment. Make sure you're subscribed. Click that subscribe button. Don't forget the notification bell. And if you enjoyed the video, it will really help our YouTube rankings if you click that like button. That really is good for us. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next Norwegian Aqua vlog.